cemetery would be the trees you want to look at. And then the other thing is, I read today's paper, and this thing is so full of wildness. Do you really stand by these quotes in here that Matt put in here? I mean, what is an umbrella seeker? And I'm just looking at things that make absolutely no sense to me, and blaming the community for how much money we've spent. But really, did you take a look at this and see? Do you really stand by what's been written here? It's quite something. And I do hope that you'll take a good look at throwing some money at the water treatment plant while we have a chance to look at it, and while we're not doing this other thing, give that some attention and maybe see if we can move it along a little bit, since we have to anyway. I still have a minute? All right. I'm not going to use it. I'll pass it on to the next guy.
Thank you. Sam Drayle.
Before I get into what I was going to plan to talk about, I notice a resolution in here regarding lack of housing in the village. And I think that should be referred to the planning board. And hopefully the intent on that is not to do away with our single-family neighborhoods, which is a great advantage to our village. So I'm not sure where this is coming from, but it should go to the planning board for review before the board passes that resolution. We want to make
For
sure.
the pro-housing initiative, Sam. So
Yes.
it's not changing the housing at all.
Right. Just want to make sure that that doesn't interfere with our single-family neighborhoods.
Not at
Well,
all.
let the planning board take a look at that. It can't do any harm, Mayor. I'm concerned about the board's decision to go with option 3 of the Labella report, which is the closing of the existing water treatment plant distribution system and obtaining water from the city of Dunkirk. Securing water from Dunkirk would entail construction of a water transmission line from Dunkirk to Fredonia. How will the water be distributed to Fredonia customers? The water from Dunkirk will have to be pumped uphill, as Fredonia and all its customers are at a higher elevation than Dunkirk. The area that would be serviced by Dunkirk is a 5 square mile area of the village and large areas of the town of Pomfret. Water will have to be pumped up Water Street at least to Bosse's. This area is about 350 to 400 feet higher in elevation than Dunkirk. Water will be needed to be pumped up West Main Street, up West Hill, to cover the eastern portion of the village and large areas of Pomfret. Water will need to be pumped easterly to cover the east portion of the Pomfret North End Water District. Considerable electric power will be needed to pump water to all village customers. This will necessitate pumping stations. How many pumping stations will be needed? I didn't see that addressed in the Labella report. How much demand will be made upon electric power? Pumping stations will need to operate 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year to provide water to village customers. What is the cost of pumping this water to village customers? What is the cost of purchasing electricity for a population, including the Pomfret areas we serve, which is probably about 12,000 people? Recently, there has been some serious reservations about the adequacy of the electric grid in New York State and the future ability of the electric grid to meet electric demands in the future. Articles have recently been published seriously questioning the capability of the electric grid to provide future requirements for electricity. The lack of electricity can cost lives when water cannot be reliably delivered. A few articles, 2 or 3 articles, I won't read them, but I'll mention what they are. One is America running out of electrical power? Another article, America's electric grid is weakening. Another article is New York grid vulnerability to reliability problems. Those all can be found on the internet. We're fortunate in Fredonia that we have a God-given asset that does not require electricity. That is gravity. Gravity is uninterrupted. It will not fail to provide power to deliver water to all village water customers as it has done in the past. Gravity power is free, and it costs the village nothing. This is a major factor that needs to be seriously considered in determining the correct option for the village. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. James Linden?
Good evening. James Linden. I've been watching your workshops, and the recent one up to the 22nd, I find that there seems to be little understanding of this board and mayor, of the understanding of how our village government operates, and a lack of willingness for the same board and mayor to listen to knowledgeable local residents and past governing officials. There was statements made that the Article 78 that was filed muddied the waters, not stopping anything. Blaming the residents as also calling it an inconvenience, blaming the residents for this Article 78 as if it's it's the thing that costs this village taxpayers large amounts of money and the possibility of not getting grants. Well, it's not the Article 78 from the residents. The residents are trying to hold this board accountable. The Supreme Court has found that this governing body did not follow the law. There's where the blame lands. They're the ones that held things up. This village could have moved forward earlier on, but they didn't follow the law. The court has determined this. This is where the cost has come in. Huge amounts of attorney's fees, unnecessary engineering type things. They could have moved forward with a request of 300 of our residents that signed petitions to move forward with our current system, and they could have moved forward with grants to do so this year if they would have listened to the constituents of this community. Another issue. There was a treasurer's report that came out, said that we have $900,000 deficit. That should have come out prior to the budget coming out, because it's going to affect this upcoming budget. There's going to be another $34,000 coming out on today's resolutions out of the fund balance, and additionally. So this is going to be very destructive to our community. Very lack of, there was money for large pay raises, new employees, but we had a deficit of $900,000. And then going into this next budget it's gonna be terrible for it. I warned you of this way ahead of time, and you didn't listen. The next thing is the housing project. There was the pro-housing community project. There was little to no discussion about this program, and it incentivizes developers and contractors with tax reductions and incentives, cash incentives in different ways that the average person won't get. People that homeowners or young families that if they wanted, they wouldn't have the same opportunities. And it also it's almost another name for something that happened back years ago with Dunkirk. They renamed it, but it's like the urban renewal that didn't do very well for our neighboring community. So I would think that this board would put it over to the planning board for a very thorough discussion. Thank you.
Mitchell Cummings.
Good evening, everyone. Just a little bit of background on myself. When I moved down here in 1980, a few years after that, I started a construction company, and probably a bit out hundreds of jobs. Before that, I worked for soil explorations in the field, doing drilling for engineering studies. And before that, when I was 18, I was hired by my cousins, who were civil construction people doing sewers and water lines. And we did everything from 6-inch to 120-inch low-head pipes, digging tunnels underneath railroad tracks, things of that nature. And in the winter, and when we didn't have jobs, I worked in the office doing bids on figuring out earthwork and how to do big earthwork and stuff. So I'm here to talk about what seems to be a very big discrepancy between the Lobello report and what the county health department presented at the Opera House a few months ago. And three big things. The Lobello report said that the capacity of the reservoir, they stated it as at 899 acre feet. And in the presentation at the Opera House, they looked at previous engineering reports that the village had procured, and they were between 211 and 201 million feet, which come out to 647 and 616 acre feet. So there's a discrepancy of 28 and 32%. And what they called it was usable water in the report from the health department. Also, there was a omission in the Lobello report where they talked about there was no drought, foreseeable drought conditions going back to 1920, interviewing people from the DPW, and that, but in fact, the village get permits water from Casadega in the 1990s, one in 1998 and 99, and these are DEC permits. And also at that time, he mandated that the village put in a permanent, find a permanent alternate source of water besides the reservoir. And I'm wondering if that is still a mandate of that the village is under, and could that be a way for emergency funding? And the other aspect is the thing of dredging. That was a big deal in the report from the county department. They talked about 750,000 cubic yards of sediment in the reservoir, and in the Lobello report, it was one little bar, do a bathymetric study and figure out how much and do dredging is necessary. Just a little line. And the county says you need to remove 750,000. And there was a report, the Karpinski engineering report stated that should be done, and it would take 10 years of 75,000 yards a year. And I started running numbers and talking to some people that were knowledgeable about dredging and also moving dirt in dump trucks. And I believe that if you look at dredging, if our reservoir needs to be dredged at that rate, the reservoir is DOA as a source of water, because it would approach $50 million to $75 million to do that, on top of the $30 million for the hooking up to Dunkirk and doing whatever. So that's like $105 million, and it could be more costly than that. And if you want to talk, I only got this amount of time. If you want to hear my basis for those numbers, it would probably take 15 minutes or half an hour or something like that. But if you got to dredge it, there's a reason why they didn't dredge it. And I think it was Natalie, the water resource person, says it was because of turbidity. I don't believe that, because there's turbidity curtains you can hang around the work site.
Okay.
But cost, my Uncle Henry used to say, the impossible cost more.
Thank you. Dady Sedota.
Thank you. I'm Dady Sedota, and I live in Fredonia. And I just want to try to keep it to 3 minutes, but if I could get Rob's minute back if I need it, that would be great. I became interested in the whole water situation because of a student, actually. I don't get into village affairs all that often, and I don't like conflict. But a student decided that he wanted to do a community story about the reservoir, and he's done a great job, and he's finishing up his last story now. And I wanted to thank you for taking the time to and he spent hours. The mayor, I think, gave him like 4 hours or something, so that's great. And I think that two things concern me. One is that somehow my name has become associated with the water because my name's in the paper a couple of times pertaining to the lawsuit. And actually, people have been approaching me, many people. And so I wanted to bring to you some of what they've been saying to me. Also, I did see the newspaper today, and sometimes this gets so confusing to read the paper because, we're hearing that Labella doesn't know how to do a seeker, but then they've done thousands of jobs like this, and so it's kind of confusing. And in the tone sometimes, like when I come to these meetings, the tone, even in this article, it said that when one of the trustees said something, another trustee laughed at her. I don't know if it really happened because I wasn't at the meeting, but if somebody's laughing at someone who's offering their opinions, I think that sets up a conflict rather than working together. I think we have an opportunity to do now what Fredonia has done in the past. We did it with the Village Hall. There was all kinds of controversy and people fighting, and people wanted to bulldoze it. Now we're here, right? We just heard, the reservoir is DOA because of this and this and this. Maybe it is and maybe it isn't. We don't really know because honestly, there are so many unanswered questions. And this is, as Sam Dreo has said numerous times, okay, and I think some of these people who are here, they understand finances, they understand the village history. This is one of the biggest deals in this village that we've dealt with in a long time. This isn't about selling hot dogs in the park. This is a big deal. And I think that would be wonderful if we could all just get on the same page and pull together the way we did when we saved Village Hall. Because, we come and we speak and everybody just kind of sits there, and then you have little meetings, and then the county comes and tell us things, and other people say this is going to happen. And I think the truth is somewhere in the middle, all right? And I've had people come up to me. I went to vote for the school budget, and the lady at the poll said, "Oh, thank you for fighting for the water." And I said, well, I'm really not. I just think it's important that we work together. And then some things that I've heard at these meetings or that people have said to me that I just don't think we know they're true. One of them is that if we bought our water from Dunkirk, we'd never have to boil it. Well, we know I still have Rob's minute. Okay, we know that's not true because Dunkirk has infrastructure problems as communities all over the country do now. Okay, they have old pipes. They've had water line breaks, and they've had water line breaks where people have had no water to boil for a few days. Okay, another thing, there's not enough water there, okay? Or nothing has been done since our great-great-great-grandfathers built the dam, okay? We know that's not true. The plant will fall over a cliff, okay? The $75+ million it will cost to buy water could probably build a new plant that wouldn't fall over a cliff, if that one ever will, which I doubt that it will. In the Labella report, it said there has never been flooding in Fredonia. And I think anybody who lives on Forest Place or University Park might want to question that one, all right? It is less costly to defy gravity and use electricity and push water uphill. I remember Andy Ludwig, after Mr. Esperson said that in Africa there's a village that pumps water up a mountain to the village. Okay, and Andy said, yeah, but if the water is already up there, why would you push it uphill when you can bring it down? All right. So again, I think that if there's more open discussion in the community, I think these questions could be addressed, rather than having meetings where somebody from the county who has their own agenda and their own expertise, I think that these issues could be discussed. And we could work together to get the truth rather than be fighting with each other. And it just makes me furious when somebody laughs at a woman who's expressing herself, okay? So I think we all need to be respectful. Does that make sense?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And I still owe Ray a tour of the water treatment plant, by the way.
Yeah, Ray.
Speaking of Ray Dye is up next.
I'm Ray Dye, and I've been working to cover Fredonia's water-related issues through our student newspaper, The Spectator, for many months. Although I haven't been to as many of these meetings in the past few weeks, I have still been following the issue closely. I'm about to finish my final article about this topic for the school year, although this story is far from over. And I'd like to take this opportunity to simply thank everyone here for your continued interest in this topic. I think it's very important for people in our community to be involved in local issues. And regardless of which of the options you support, I still commend you for being here and investing your time and energy into our village's future. At this point, I think I've interviewed half the people who are here, and I'd just like to say to those who I have interviewed and to those I haven't, sincerely thank you for everything everyone has done for me, for our newspaper, and for our community.
Ray, I want to take a moment too before you go. We usually don't speak during these things. But we want to thank you for your coverage, and we want to thank you for being involved as well. You're a talented young man, and we know that you're going to go very far in your journalism. I think you're taking journalism, correct? But that you're going to do well in your future. So thank you very much for covering both with stuff we agreed with and didn't agree with. That's the beauty of America. So we thank you for your time and wish you good luck. Bev Mosier.
Hello, everyone. I want to know, last time I was here, you shut me down and said I was not from the village. Can I speak freely today?
As long as it doesn't get insulting, Bev.
I wasn't insulting that day. I asked you when was the next meeting.
Calm, not
Wait,
screaming,
no,
you know.
I wasn't screaming. Oh, Lord
Okay.
knows I could.
We have
I
different
asked you
definitions
if
of
when
that.
was the date, next date and time.
Well, here it
the
is, and here
public
you
would
are,
meet.
so please
Okay,
speak
so
whether you want to speak.
You got
Thank
to
you.
understand, I'm a little hesitant to trust you because you
I
insulted me.
feel the same, so go right
Okay,
ahead.
but at least I'm honest to speak it up. I don't hide a thing.
No
So I
hiding
do
here.
kind of wonder about the Labella report, and they say that it's the first time that they've done an umbrella study. Is that their admission that we're going to be to their, I want to say, to their mercy to figure it out? Are we going to have to pay for the study again when they might not even get it right? To their paid by the taxpayers? Right, the taxpayers of Fredonia will be paying for their study to figure out an umbrella study?
The taxpayers of Forestville won't, so you're good.
I'm not from Forestville.
Okay.
I'm a hillbilly from Fredonia, graduated 77. I'd walk to school if I missed it out of
All
8
right.
miles.
Go ahead. Didn't mean to
Okay, so
interrupt
what
you.
was the Forestville report, or remark? Tell me, what was the Forestville?
Don't worry about it, Beverly. Go ahead.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
When do you take ownership of your misinformation and your insults? You're the mayor of this village, and people are at the mercy of the trustees, and you don't have a vote, but you push people around and insult them. I feel right now you just insulted me again, and you can't admit it.
Beverly, you just spent 3/4 of your day on
I don't care if
Facebook
I
really
spent
making
all
it.
my life.
And you ripped in every person here. You stood up
Did
at the
I?
last meeting and screamed at the top of your lungs.
Prove it. Prove it.
It's on camera. Would
It
you
is
like
on
to see it?
camera.
Yeah.
Now, you all go
Very
on to that
good.
meeting. I think it was a week before my, almost 60-decade friend passed away.
Do you have a
And I
point
didn't
on what you're
scream.
trying to speak about tonight, Beverly?
Yeah, you representing this community
Okay, well, thank you.
honestly and humbly instead of arrogantly and ignorantly.
Okay, thank you. We always look forward to your visit.
Mutter this.
Okay, thank you. Nice. Correspondence.
Nice. And I'm honest about it.
We
You
have-
can suck up to them.
I know, I'm not going to worry about it. Correspondence. Yes.
Correspondence dated May 14th, 2024 was received from Holly Gates with Cheer Jim requesting to hold a chicken barbecue fundraiser on June 22nd, 2024 in Barker Common East.
Be resolved that the request from Holly Gates requesting to hold a chicken barbecue on June 22nd, 2024, from 12 until 5 p.m. in Barker Commons is hereby approved, And be it further resolved that a certificate of insurance showing the Village of Fredonia as an additional insured in the amount of $1 million will be provided to the village's clerk office at least 2 weeks prior to the event.
I'll second that.
Trustee Twitchell?
Aye.
Trustee Brockler?
Aye.
Trustee Wendell?
Aye.
Trustee Esperson?
Aye.
That's all the correspondence we had.
That's all the correspondence? Thank you. Mayor's report. Trustees Esperson and Syracuse and I were able to attend the new NICOM convention at Bolton's Landing. We have now joined a committee of communities that also have colleges in them, and we found it very resourceful. And we are now part of a group that will be working on the solutions for not only the college, but working together to communicate with New York State. So we're proud to have taken part in that particular exercise. Attended the Fredonia American Legion's Memorial Day events. Local scouts were there as well. We thank them for being there. We actually had a number. We want to thank the American Legion because they take their ceremony to 5 different locations so that those in senior living facilities can also get a chance to be recognized for their families and their families' contributions, and unfortunately the passing of those soldiers who fought for our freedom. So we want to thank the Fredonia American Legion as well as all of Chautauqua County's legions for continuing to hold those services throughout the county. We'll have to thank the M&T Bank Regional Management Group for painting the fountains and fountain basins in both sides of the park. And as you can see, the fountains were working this weekend for a bit. The one on the left, I think, went back down, but we're working on that. We want to congratulate the Fredonia High School Theater Department for winning 4 awards at Shays Buffalo for their performance of Beauty and the Beast this year. It was well attended, and they just did a tremendous job. We also want to congratulate the Fredonia High School girls flag football team, or the Fredonia flag football team, for taking the championship this year in their, I believe, 2nd year in competition. And also attended the 35th anniversary of the Returning Students for Quest. Any of you in that? Did you? Still tired? No. That the students, teachers, and community leaders bonded together for the trip, which included, wasn't it a 12-mile hike the second last day? Yeah. So I watched you from afar. I can't walk that far, but congratulations to you and your group. And congratulations to the Cobb family and many of the community leaders and teachers that have been doing this for over 35 years. So that's the end of my report. Trustee committee reports. We'll start with Trustee Brockler.
I was able to attend the opening of the farmers market in the downtown, and I really enjoyed that. It's good to see them back downtown for the season. And we're really privileged not only to have them in the summer, but in the winter as well. There aren't a lot of communities that have that advantage. I attended the Farm Festival Committee meeting, and plans for that are moving forward and looking pretty good. And I think that's pretty much it for me.
Thank you. Trustee Twitchell.
Yes, I did attend the Library Museum meeting, and this Saturday they will be having a plant swap from 9 a.m. until noon. You're all invited to bring any extra plants you have to exchange for other plants, and they will be having that right in front of the library, and I hope people do attend that. And I also attended the farmers market opening, and I want to welcome them back. They bring a lot of life to Fredonia on Saturday mornings, and I noticed they did have some new people participating, and it's really a wonderful thing to have here in the village of Fredonia. They have a SNAP program that enables people to buy fruits and vegetables that are grown by our local farmers, and I want to thank them for that. And I do have some concerns that I'm disappointed that both our engineers at La Bella and our attorneys at Webster Zani have misled this board on need to perform an environmental review in conjunction with our water plans. The result has been an expensive, time and consuming New York State Supreme Court decision against the village. I urge my colleagues on the board to select different engineers and different attorneys if we are to continue plans to buy all our water from Dunkirk. Of course, now that we are in essence starting over with our water plan, this would be a good time to reconsider keeping our own system. And this time, I would be appreciative that the Chautauqua County Department of Health not inserting arbitrary deadlines into our decision. I look forward to working with the Department of Health in its work to monitor and enforce safe water drinking for our village. And I do have a housing concern with the resolution that's presented to us tonight. And I don't believe that this board should undertake any sweeping revisions to our housing regulations before they are reviewed by our Planning and Zoning Board of Appeals. After all, that's why they do exist, so we can better understand this, so we can have some discussion about it before this is passed. And that's what I have tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Wendell.
Thank you, Mayor. Also attended the ribbon cutting at the farmers market opening here. Mayor Mike and I had an opportunity to go around and speak to each of the vendors and introduce ourselves and wish them the best. And the reason I say that is because I think it's important that the village government is there out in the public and interfacing with the vendors and the people. On May 7th, I attended a Go Bike meeting together with the Go Bike Buffalo people, as well as certain individuals from the city of Dunkirk. There's proposals to doing work on our village streets for enhancing and making more safe the pedestrian and bicycle traffic. There are a lot of developments that are being considered right now, and that's just another thing that we have to actually, Mayor, we have to respond back to them by tomorrow. I don't know if you're aware of that.
Yes.
So that's something we have.
I've sent mine in.
Oh, okay, thank you. Also, the water treatment plant, the wastewater treatment plant, they have had two major repairs completed. The first one was the North Clarifier is back in service. There was a major clog that was happening over a period of about 2 weeks, and that has been restored. So that's good news. And also there was a valve actuator that was not working properly for digester tank number 2. It is back in service and working well. So just to reemphasize, we really need to support the best we can for that operation because it's vital, just as fresh water is to our village. Also working with the New York State Department of Transportation on their Route 20 revitalization project, which is scheduled to start January of next year. So that process is evolving and moving along. And the last thing I'd like to comment on is, in spite of the lawsuit decisions and where that settles out, there are still grants available from New York State called WIA, Water Infrastructure Grants. And we have issues, obviously, with our below-grade water distribution system. So it's important that we chase after these opportunities, and spoke with the mayor this morning, so we're going to be proactive in that process. That's it.
Thank you. Trustee Esperson.
Yeah, as the mayor said, we attended NICOM. Some of the class that I went to, we went to a college roundtable. All the communities, not all the communities, many communities in the state that have colleges met. There were maybe 20 colleges represented, and it was a great experience to find out that we're not the only one experiencing the issues that we're experiencing, that we're sharing some of those same issues with other communities. We found out that there was money available through SUNY Impact that we're going to apply for, see if we can get some of those funds. Talked about the cannabis rollout and the implementation and how that's gone so wrong. Downtown revitalization development, and I went to a grant seminar to talk about some of the grant money that Governor Hochul had made available this year for different projects. We met with legislator Shagnon regarding the PPD sewer cost equation. It appears that the way some of the sewer districts are calculating their fees are different than the way we're calculating our fees. So we're trying to get to the bottom of that before we have a meeting with PPD and start negotiations yet again. We had a meeting with Peter Renault from the college regarding Dunkirk's pricing of water and how Fredonia being a customer would affect the price, not just for Fredonia, but for Pomfret and for Dunkirk and for the town of Dunkirk and for Portland and everybody that gets water from Dunkirk or the North County Water District. I want to remind everybody that the planning day for Embrace is Sunday morning. They meet in the park, and I would tell you the time, but I don't want you to show up at 8 when it really starts at 10. So I'm going to leave just morning. Will be available. There was a couple things that were said that just make me shake my head. Nobody said that LaBella is doing an umbrella study. What I talked about was if we have to order another seeker that covers all the options, instead of ordering 4 or 5 different seekers, we could order one seeker that would cover all the options. That's called an umbrella seeker. And although one of the speakers said that LaBella may not be experts at what they do, I would like to remind people that they've been in business doing water projects since the day I walked out of college, and as you can see, that was more than 2 years ago. We spoke with engineers from LaBella, from B&L, and no engineers that we spoke with, nobody from LaBella especially, have ever experienced what we are experiencing. And although the effort is being made to blame the village because we didn't go about it right, I would like to point out that after the lawsuit was filed, one of the petitioners on TV said the petition was filed to slow them down. Not to stop the project, but to slow the project down. And when the judge rendered her decision, Channel 2 reported that the petitioners reported that they felt vindicated. Now we need to talk about what vindication actually costs. Because of inflationary prices and our inability this year to apply for grants for any project regarding any of the options, the total project cost will probably increase by millions of dollars due to inflationary costs over the next 3 or 4 years, and the fact that $350 million that the governor has made available for intermunicipal water projects this year we're not able to apply for. You can't apply for them without a environmental impact statement. When we met with legislator Shagnon, he reported that a district in the South County applied for a $5 million WIA grant, which they received, along with an additional $10 million because the state realized the significance of that project, which begs me to think, if we were able to apply for that grant, would we have been awarded extra money as well? It's well known, Albany's well aware, our legislators are well aware of the infrastructure project, or infrastructure, water infrastructure problems that we're having. We spoke with them at NICOM, they're all aware. Would there have been extra money coming our way? I guess we'll never know. That's all I've got.
Thank you. Treasurer's report. Additional reports?
Fredonia Justice Court report for the month of May 2024. The following report: The following is the report for the month of May 2024. Total numbers of cases closed are 103. Of those, vehicle and traffic 73, criminal 24, village ordinances 2, civil cases 4. Total fines and surcharges $3,956. Parking ticket fines $3,349 for a total of $7,305. The Fredonia Police Department report for the month of April 2024. Total incidents reported 839. Fredonia Central School calls for service 1. Accidents 16. Arrests reported 46. Vehicle and traffic incidents 120. Domestic incidents 13. Parking tickets 87. And that's all I have.
Thank you. Resolutions, Mr. Esperson.
Whereas the Board of Trustees of the Village of Fredonia wishes to assess the advisability of submitting a USDA grant application to the USDA Rural Development Community Facilities Program for a grant to support the purchase of miscellaneous street equipment, including but not limited to a dump truck and a loader. Whereas the Village of Fredonia is required to hold a public hearing to provide information to the public, to consider citizen comments regarding community needs and the project proposal prior to applying for USDA grant funding. Now therefore be it resolved that the Village of Fredonia hereby calls for a public hearing where all interested parties shall be heard regarding USDA Rural Development Community Facilities Program grant. Be it further resolved that such public hearing will be held on Monday, June 10th, 2024 at 6:30 p.m. in the Village Hall, Trustees Room, 911 Church Street, Fredonia, New York. Be further resolved that at least 8 days' notice of such hearing will be given by the village clerk by the due posting thereof on the village's website and by publishing such notice at least once in the official newspaper of the village.
Second.
Trustee Twitchell.
Aye.
Trustee Brockler.
Aye.
Trustee Wendell.
Aye.
Trustee Esperson.
Aye.
Be it resolved that pursuant to Section 5520 of Village Law, the following attached budget transfers are hereby approved and on file in the village clerk's office, 9 to 11 Church Street, Fredonia, New York, 14063.
I second.
Trustee Esperson.
Aye.
Trustee Twitchell.
Aye.
Trustee Brockler.
Aye.
Trustee Wendell.
Aye.
Be it resolved that the following bids, being the lowest bid submitted for village fuel, is hereby accepted for the prices set forth below for the village fiscal year commencing June 1st, 2024, ending May 31st, 2025. NOCO Energy, 2440 Sheridan Drive, Tonawanda, New York, is hereby awarded the bid for unleaded gasoline with dealer markup of 0.2500 plus a current refinery rack price on day of delivery, and low sulfur diesel fuel with a dealer markup of 0.1800 plus the current refinery rack price on day of delivery, and all weather diesel fuel with dealer markup of 0.1800 plus the current refinery rack price on day of delivery.
Second.
Trustee Wendell.
Aye.
Trustee Twitchell.
Aye.
Trustee Esperson.
Aye.
Trustee Brockler.
Aye.
Whereas bids for the water meters for Department of Public Works were publicly opened and read on May 6, 2024, now therefore be it resolved that review of bids, Thai Sales Incorporated, 36 Hudson Road, Sudbury, Mass. is hereby awarded the bid for water meters for the village fiscal year commencing June 1, 2024 and ending May 31, 2025 as per attached bid form, a copy of which is attached to and made part of these minutes.
Second.
Trustee Twitchell.
Aye.
Trustee Brockler.
Aye.
Trustee Wendell.
Aye.
Trustee Esperson.
Aye.
Whereas bids for liquefied gas chlorine for the wastewater treatment plant were publicly opened and read on May 6, 2024, and whereas David Felt, chief operator of the wastewater treatment plant, has reviewed the bids and has recommended awarding the bid to Jones Chemical, now therefore be it resolved that Jones Chemical, 100 Sunny Soul Boulevard, Caledonia, New York, JCI, is hereby awarded the bid for liquefied gas chlorine for the village fiscal year commencing June 1st, 2024 and ending May 31st, 2025 at $2,400 for 2,000-pound containers with no container deposit and no fuel charge for the wastewater treatment plant. Price is subject to change upon 30-day written notice.
Second.
Trustee Twitchell.
Aye.
Trustee Brockler.
Aye.
Trustee Wandell.
Aye.
Trustee Esperson.
Aye.
Whereas bids for synthetic flocculant for the wastewater treatment plant were publicly opened and read on May 6, 2024. And whereas David Felt, Chief Operator of the wastewater treatment plant, has reviewed the bids and has recommended awarding the bid to Polydyne Inc., 1 Chemical Plant Road, Riceboro, Georgia. Now therefore be it resolved that Polydyne Inc. is hereby awarded the bid for synthetic flocculant NE at $1.70 a pound for the village fiscal year commencing June 1st, 2024 and ending May 31st, 2025.
Second.
Trustee Twitchell.
Aye.
Trustee Brockler.
Aye.
Trustee Wandell.
Aye.
Trustee Esperson.
Aye. Whereas bids for ferric chloride for the wastewater treatment plant were publicly opened and read on May 6, 2024. Whereas David Felt, Chief Operator of the wastewater treatment plant, has reviewed the bids and has recommended awarding the bid to Chimera Water Solutions, Inc., 4321 West 6th Street, Kansas, or Lawrence, Kansas, ferric chloride supplied out of our terminal in Buffalo, New York. Now therefore be resolved that Chimera Water Solutions is hereby awarded the bid for ferric chloride at a price of $1,325 per dry ton delivered 3 days lead time for the village fiscal year commencing June 1st, 2024 and ending May 31st, 2025.
Second.
Trustee Wandell.
Aye.
Trustee Brockler.
Aye.
Trustee Twitchell.
Aye.
Trustee Esperson.
Aye.
Whereas bids for polyaluminum chloride for the water filtration plant were publicly opened and read on May 6, 2024, and whereas Louis Fred, Chief Operator of Water Filtration Plant, has reviewed the bids and has recommended awarding the bid to Applied Specialties Incorporated, 33555 Pin Oak Parkway, Avon Lake, Ohio, 44012. Now therefore be it resolved, Applied Specialties, Inc. is hereby awarded the bid for polyaluminum chloride for the village fiscal year commencing June 1, 2024 and ending May 31, 2025 at the bid of 716 cents per pound delivered per 55-gallon drum.
Second.
Trustee Twitchell.
That should be 71 cents,
71 cents.
6 pound delivered, right.
Gotcha.
Second, or, yes, aye.
Okay. Trustee Twitchell. I mean,
Aye.
Esperson, I'm sorry.
Aye.
Trustee Brockler.
Aye.
Trustee Wandell.
Aye.
I just want to say I'm glad you guys are reading all these instead of me tonight, so go right ahead. Next.
Whereas bids for polyorthophosphate for the water filtration plant were publicly opened and read on May 6, 2024. Whereas Louis Fred, Chief Operator of the water filtration plant, has reviewed the bids, has recommended awarding the bid to Applied Specialist, Inc., 33555 Pin Oak Parkway, Avon Lake, Ohio, 44012. Now therefore be resolved that Applied Specialties, Inc. is hereby awarded the bid for polyorthophosphate for the village fiscal year commencing June 1st, 2023, ending May 31st, 2024, at the bid of $1.74 a pound delivered per 30-gallon drum with no drum deposit.
A second.
Trustee Brockler.
Aye.
Trustee Twitchell.
Aye.
Trustee Esperson.
Aye.
Trustee Wandell.
Aye.
Whereas bids for polycatatonic polymer for the water filtration plant were publicly open and read on May 6, 2024, and whereas Louis Fred, Chief Operator of the water filtration plant, has viewed the bids and has recommended awarding the bid to ASI Inc., 33555 Pin Oak Parkway, Avon Lake, Ohio. Now therefore be resolved that ASI Inc. is hereby awarded the bid for polycatatonic polymer for the village fiscal year commencing June 1st, 2024 and ending May 31st, 2025 at the bid price of 96 cents per pound or $441.60 for a 55-gallon drum.
Second.
Trustee Twitchell.
Aye.
Trustee Wandell.
Aye.
Trustee Brockler.
Aye.
Trustee Esperson.
Aye.
Be it resolved that upon recommendation of Kayla Sullivan, Director of Fredonia Pomfret Recreation Department, the following individuals are hereby appointed to the seasonal position for the 2024 Summer Recreation Program, effective immediately. Claire Marshall, Bradish Street, Fredonia. Clayton Frazier, Chestnut Street, Fredonia.
Excuse me, Trustee Twitchell, could you read the top sentence too? That's
Oh, be it further,
Thank you.
gotcha, thank you. Be it further resolved, these hires will be effective immediately at minimum wage of $15 an hour unless otherwise noted, and ending August 9th, 2024. Claire Marshall, Bradish Street. Clayton Frazier, Chestnut Street. Jack Fortna, Stone Quarry Road. Keegan Whitfield, Central Avenue. Gabriel Helwig, Andrew Court. Francesca Pucci, Birchwood. Riley Crampton, Birchwood. Julie LeBaron, Temple Street. Sophia Hallis, Gardner Street. John Mann, Eagle Street. Abigail Joy, Liberty Street. Jalen Davis, Newell Road. Rebecca Peedy, Lambert Street. Jay Casey, Albany Avenue. Brady Crawford, Per Diem, Woodcrest Drive. Madeline Saunder, Per Diem, Central Avenue. Margaret Gray, Temple Street at $17 an hour. Sydney Bigelow, Westlake Road, $17 per hour.
If I may make a mention, the town of Pomfret also shares our summer program. So there are other people that have been hired by the town of Pomfret as their commitment as well. So there are other folks that, that were hired through their program and will be serving as part of the summer program. Trustee Esperson.
I'll second that.
Trustee Twitchell.
Aye.
Trustee Brockler.
Aye.
Trustee Wendell.
Aye.
Whereas the village operates a sewage treatment plant located in the town of Dunkirk, New York, which has extra capacity. Whereas the Portland Pomfret Dunkirk Sewer District collects sewage from its users but does not have treatment infrastructure. Whereas an agreement to process the sewage of the district would generate revenue for the village while providing a much-needed service to the district. Whereas the parties are authorized to enter into this agreement extension pursuant to General Municipal Law, Section 119-A, County Law, Section 265, and District Resolution. Therefore, be resolved, the mayor is hereby authorized and directed to sign the sewage treatment services agreement extension till December 31st, 2024 with the Portland Pomfret Dunkirk Sewer District.
Second.
Trustee Twitchell.
I'd like to see this done before the end of the year, but I'll vote aye on this.
Trustee Brockler.
Aye.
Trustee Wendell.
Aye.
Trustee Twitchell.
Aye.
I'm sorry. You already
I
did.
said,
Okay,
yeah.
Next.
Aye.
There you go.
I'm reading 3 lines ahead, sorry, guys.
Whereas the village is required to have policies in place to be in compliance with New York State Comptroller's Office. And whereas the board has reviewed the financial policy book, therefore be it resolved, the village board authorizes the financial policy book to be placed into effect as of June 1st, 2024.
Second.
Trustee Esperson.
Aye.
Trustee Twitchell.
Aye.
Trustee Wendell.
Just want to get an explanation on the proposal, and we've had discussed this in the past for single source vendors. I did not see that in the financial handbook. Is that, I looked there, I didn't see it, but it is there? Okay. Aye.
Trustee Brockler.
Aye.
Next.
Whereas the village is required to have policies in place to be in compliance with the New York State Comptroller's Office, and whereas the board has reviewed and edited the employee handbook, therefore be it resolved, the village board authorizes the employee handbook to be placed into effect as of June 1, 2024.
Second?
Trustee Twitchell.
Aye.
Trustee Brockler.
Aye.
Trustee Wendell.
Aye.
Trustee Esperson.
Aye.
I'm going to interrupt for just a second. And I hope the board will hear me out on this. I know what the pro-housing initiative is. This request is for us to be able to, there's no financial commitment, there's no contract. It is that the village would be interested in participating. We have been told by New York State that it would be in our best interest to apply for this as we are applying for different grants. I am going to ask, as mayor, and not wanting to be a hypocrite with regards to the fact that I've been touting the importance of the planning board to this community, that you allow me to table this for 2 weeks so that I can put it before the planning board to respect what they do for our community.
Actually, the board would have to, someone would have to make a motion to table it, and I will make the motion to table it.
And I'll second that.
Okay, thank you, trustee trustee Brockler,
Aye.
trustee Wendell.
Aye.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate it.
Aye.
Pardon?
You didn't ask me for a vote.
Well, I thought trustee Twitchell.
Aye.
Of course, there we go, thank you. And again, this is, it's only to make sure that we've talked about how important our planning board is to us
Right.
and how important the comprehensive plan is. While I have talked to a couple of members of the planning board, I'd like to present it to them so that they're aware of what we're doing. Okay, thank you.
Be it resolved that Jacob Gallus, Briggs Drive, Orchard Park, New York, is hereby appointed provisionally as full-time firefighter paramedic with the Village of Fredonia Fire Department effective May 29th, 2024, at a rate of $20.33 per hour.
Second.
Trustee Twitchell,
Aye.
trustee Brockler,
Aye.
trustee Wendell,
Aye.
trustee Esperson.
Aye.
Whereas the annual elections of the Volunteer Fire Company occurred on May 6, 2024, now therefore be it resolved the following individuals and positions take effect on May 7th, 2024, contingent on training being completed by September 7, 2024. First Assistant Chief Chuck Gordolano, Second Assistant Chief Ken Haas, Third Assistant Chief Adam Ahrens, Lieutenant Joshua Foster.
Second?
Trustee Twitchell,
Aye.
trustee Brockler,
Aye.
trustee Wendell,
Aye.
trustee Esperson.
Aye.
I do want to say before we go on, we want to congratulate those folks. We all had the chance to go to the Fireman's Banquet, and we also want to thank our volunteers, who before we had a professional firefighting crew, and as we have a professional firefighters crew, the volunteers continue to serve our community and back up our professional team at all times. So thank you for their continued service, and thank you for the service they've given this village in the past. Next.
Whereas the village requires a meter to be purchased to measure the water usage for the fire department, whereas Ty Sales, Sudbury, Mass. Has supplied a quote for the meter size necessary for the fire department in the amount of $4,062, and whereas this meter will need to be installed after purchase, therefore, be it resolved, the village board hereby authorizes purchasing the water meter and installation for the fire department in the amount not to exceed $5,000 after June 1st, 2024.
Second.
Trustee Brockler,
Aye.
trustee Wendell.
Aye.
Trustee Esperson.
Aye.
Trustee Twitchell.
Aye. Whereas the village is responsible for the building repairs at the library, and whereas Farrell Roofing, Dunkirk, New York, has offered a quote in the amount of $2,500 to make necessary repairs to the roof, and in addition, a warranty has to be supplied to the village in this agreement for building repairs. Whereas the roof repairs are necessary for the Village of Fredonia, therefore, be it resolved, the village board hereby authorizes Farrell Roofing to make necessary roof repairs to the library in the amount of $2,500 after June 1st, 2024.
Second.
Trustee Brockler,
Aye.
trustee Esperson.
We don't know how long, if they're gonna warrant it, how long the warranty will be good for. I mean, I think we need to get the warranty before we can pass this, because they can make it good for 6 months. And is that gonna satisfy our needs? I would like to see the warranty first.
You'd like to see it
Yeah,
beforehand?
yeah. Obviously, it needs to be done, I just wanna
Yeah.
see the warranty first.
I would also suggest with that, which is usual, is a service plan.
Yeah.
I forgot to mention, is it some kind of service?
Okay,
plan.
well, do
That's
you want to
something
table it then?
I would like to table until we see the warranty
wanna
and
table
service
it?
plan,
Okay.
yeah. I'd make a
It's
motion that
important
we
to get it
table
done.
it.
Okay.
Do we also
I'd
know the
second that.
condition of the roof, the rest of the roof?
It's, well, these two areas, from what I understand, they were caused by nails in the roof, and they're pretty serious. I mean, water's pouring into the village, into the library, so it's unfortunate that, that we didn't know that we had to have a warranty on this also.
Well,
Well, I read the quote, and I didn't see any assessment of the rest, the status condition of the rest of the roof.
Of the rest of the roof?
Right, I didn't see anything in there. Could that be supplied?
There was nothing that was urgent on that roof,
Okay.
other than what was happening with the holes in the roof that causes the roof to leak.
So anyway, I make a motion that we table it until we get the warranty.
Until you get the warranty?
Trustee Brockler, you seconded?
Yes.
Well,
Trustee
I guess they can put a bucket under the hole for a while.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully we'll get that within the next couple days,
Oh,
and
yeah.
we can vote on it in the next meeting.
Yeah, they're good people. We could
Yeah.
get it fairly quickly.
Well, the next meeting to vote would be
2 weeks,
in
June
June.
10th,
Yeah,
right?
2 weeks.
Yeah.
2 weeks, yeah.
I'll notify them of
Okay.
that then.
Is it possible that we can, I heard what you were saying, and I was just gonna suggest that. Is it contingent on if we
Contingent.
receive that, we pass it today? If they're
Right.
able to provide that to us,
Right.
can we go forward with the vote? As
I
long as
guess-
we witnessed it.
I guess it all depends on what our expectations are for the warranty.
I'm sure, John, they're gonna at least guarantee it for 5 years. I mean, 10 years, 5 years?
You don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, I'm just concerned with the amount of rain that we've been having, and they've been having quite a bit of damage being done to that room. So to expedite it, I would like to see, you know, contingent upon.
That's up to everybody else.
That's how I feel. I don't know how you
Well,
feel, Paul.
Trustee Brockler, how do you feel?
I would be glad to authorize them to go ahead as soon as they, you know, as soon as they provide a reasonable warranty and, you know, presumably a service plan as well.
Trustee Wendell?
I agree with trustee Brockler, but I would also like to have them include an assessment of the rest of the roof in their statement.
That wasn't requested, but we could request that.
I'm sure they've inspected it.
I will say that the library suffered quite a bit of damage because of that.
They
so
did.
The quicker we can get it done, the better.
Right.
So
Still
do we need
looking
a
at
motion?
June 1st at the earliest, so.
Can we have a motion, official motion?
Well, we have already moved and seconded on the tabling. Let's do a real quick downvote on that and move forward with approving the motion contingent on.
Based on contingencies.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right,
You have a motion to remove the last vote.
I'll motion that.
Okay, trustee Twitchell?
Now, what are we doing? Now you got me confused.
We have to negate the
table.
first vote so we can add the new one.
So the motion is to remove the motion to table.
I know it's silly.
To table
To
it.
table it?
Yeah.
All right.
Okay,
Yeah, rescind the
okay.
tabling motion.
So we will
Okay.
move ahead on this, and they would supply us with a
Yes.
warranty.
Yes.
Okay.
Raise the price.
I'm sorry, what?
Will it raise the price?
No,
No,
shouldn't.
it shouldn't at all.
No, when you get your car fixed, because you have a warranty, doesn't
We
mean
won't
raise
allow
the
it to
price.
be raise the price.
They're not gonna do that.
Yeah, we're only authorizing for 2,500 if there is a price then.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
So,
It's a repair.
Right.
it's a repair.
yeah,
It's a repair, it's not a replacement.
Right.
You
Yeah,
don't really need a warranty.
yeah, I was gonna say that too.
I agree with you.
I
We're
thought-
going through, the only reason I'm skittish with it is we're going through an issue with our roof in this building that we had a service plan on that not this company, but another company is not adhering to. So we're just protecting ourselves. Yeah. So,
I believe this will fix the problem, and
okay, motion to accept based on, or you're the ones who are gonna have to do the motion, so go ahead.
okay, they guarantee that this problem, building repair, is under warranty. I mean,
Okay, let's do this. I'll
Do you
make a
know-
motion that we rescind the motion to table it.
okay,
Okay.
Second.
Trustee Twitchell,
aye.
trustee Brockler,
Aye.
trustee Wendell.
Aye.
Trustee Esperson.
Aye.
It's not always like this, boys. So I need a motion to accept
Go ahead.
The bid,
Michelle,
if you
go
would.
ahead and read it again, please.
Okay. Whereas the village is responsible for the building repairs at the library, and whereas Farrell Roof, Dunkirk, New York, has offered a quote in the amount of $2,500 to make necessary repairs to the roof. And in addition, a warranty has to be supplied to the village in this agreement for building repairs.
Do we have a second?
Whereas the roof repairs are necessary for the Village of Fredonia, therefore, be it resolved, the village board hereby authorizes Farrell Roofing to make the necessary roof repairs to the library in the amount of $2,500 after June 1st, 2024.
Second.
Trustee Wendell.
Aye.
Trustee Brockler.
Aye.
Trustee Twitchell.
Aye.
Trustee Esperson.
Aye.
Thank you.
Whereas the Village of Fredonia houses SUNY Fredonia within its village limits. Whereas the village houses approximately 3,500 students in its 9,500 person population per year, resulting in higher police, fire, and zoning costs. Whereas the police department regularly responds to incidents that are not covered by the university police but include students. The fire department regularly responds to calls and false alarms involving the college students. Therefore, be it resolved, the village board hereby requests that SUNY impact aid for the Village of Fredonia be established in the amount of $300,000.
Second.
Trustee Twitchell.
Aye.
Trustee Brockler.
Aye.
Trustee Wendell.
Aye.
Trustee Esperson.
Aye.
Is there a reason to go into executive session? If not, we've had no request for it, and I have a motion to.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Second.
Trustee Brockler.
Aye.
Trustee Wendell.
Aye.
Trustee Twitchell.
Aye.
Trustee Esperson.
Aye.
Ladies and gentlemen, the next Village of Fredonia workshop will take place on Wednesday, June 5th, 2024 at 9 a.m. in the trustee room, second floor, Village Hall. That's this room right here. You're invited. The next Village of Fredonia board meeting will take place on Monday, June 10th, 2024 at 7 p.m. in the trustee room, second floor, Village Hall.
With a 6:30 public hearing.
6:30 public hearing as well,
Yes.
as previously mentioned. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you to our viewers. Thank you, trustees, and thank you to the general public for attending tonight. Safe travels.
For the workshop.
No, I watched it.
When we were in NICA,
Oh, excellent. Meeting. It's going to be a